Hello and welcome to another session of Learning with me. I'm Dr. Manjula. In this session, I'll be discussing about the geographical diversity of India. The geographical diversity of any particular country denotes the varieties that is present in that region in terms of the geographical features. India is a vast peninsula with a total area of about 33 million square feet. Here, we'll have to understand the term peninsula. What is a peninsula? A peninsula is nothing but a land area that is protruding into water. We have India surrounded by water on three sides. So this geographical feature is called as a peninsular region. India lies entirely in the northern hemisphere and the mainland extent measures up to 3,214 kilometers from north and south between the extreme latitudes and about 29,333 kilometers from east to west between the extreme longitudes. India lies between 8 degrees and 37.6 degrees north of the equator, and it is surrounded by the Bay of Bengal in the east and the Arabian Sea in the west and the Indian Ocean in the south. The total length of the coastline of the Indian uh, mainland is about 7,516.5 kilometers. This includes both the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the Lakshadweep Islands also. So, what are the major physiographic regions of India? India has six major physiographic regions. The first one being the Himalayan mountains. This region, the Himalayan mountains, the Great Himalayas, and then we have the northern plains, the Indian desert region, the peninsular plateau or the Deccan plateau, the coastal plains, and the islands. These are the six physiographic regions of India: the Himalayan mountains, the northern plains, the peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plains, and now let us look at each of these geographical features in detail. First of all, we have the Himalayan ranges. The Himalayan mountain range or the northern mountain ranges are supposed to be one of the loftiest mountain ranges in the world. It has an average height of 5,600 meters. The Himalayas stands on the north of India and it is the highest mountains in the world and extends from west to east between the Indus and the Brahmaputra. The length is about 2,400 kilometers and the breadth on an average is about 240 kilometers. The Himalayas are the youngest mountains in the world and they are structurally folded mountains. They run along the northern border of India. They form an arc which is about 2,400 kilometers long. The width varies from 400 kilometers in Kashmir to about 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. The altitudinal variations are greater in the eastern part than it is in the western part. These are the three parallel ranges in its the geographic or the physiographic aspects of a particular country influences its people in many ways. Because of the unique physiographic features of India, the people here are also highly influenced. We have a composite culture primarily because of this variety in the physiographic features. And the way we think, our bent of mind is also to a very great extent influenced by this physiographic conditions. The Himalayan mountains, as I was earlier mentioning, extends from the west to east between the Indus and the Brahmaputra. It has three parts. The first one being the Shivalik range, the second one, the Middle Himalayas or the Himachal, and the third division is of the Greater Himalaya or the Himadri. Now let us look into details of the Shivalik range. The Shivalik range is also called as the Outer Himalayas. It lies between the Indo-Ganga-Brahmaputra plain and extends to the southeast almost uninterruptedly from Jammu hills of Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh. The altitude varies between 900 and 1500 kilometers in this particular range, and the width varies between 10 to 50 kilometers. Unlike the other two ranges, they are discontinuous. The longitudinal valleys lying between the Himachal and the Shivaliks are called as Dun. We have Dehradun, Kothari Dun, Patli Dun. These valleys are called as Dun. And then we have the Middle Himalayas or the Himachal. The Middle Himalayas or the Himachal ranges lies between the Shivalik range and the Greater Himalayas. The notable ranges of this region are the Dauladhar, the Fir Panjal, the Nag Tibba, and the Mahabharata. And we find some of the most picturesque hill stations here. The third one is the Greater Himalayas or the Himadri. Himadri is the snow-capped mountains. It is also called the main Himalayas or the inner Himalayas. It contains the loftiest of the peaks, and the average height of the ranges here is about 6,000 meters, and its average breadth is about 120 to 190 kilometers. The world's three major rivers, the Indus, the Ganges, and the Brahmaputra, arise in the Himalayas. All the prominent Himalayan peaks are in this range. The Mount Everest, which is about 8,848 meters. It is the highest mountain peak of the Himalayas as well as in the world. It is located on the Nepal-China border. The Kanchenjunga, which is about 8,598 meters, is the highest peak in the world, which is situated in this range. Now let's move on to the second feature, the northern plains. The northern plains has been formed by the interplay of three major river systems, namely the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra, along with their tributaries. This plain is formed of alluvial soil. The deposition of alluvium in a vast basin is lying at the foothills of the Himalaya over millions of years. It spreads over an area of about 7 lakh square kilometers. This is a very favorable climate and rich soil for engaging in agricultural pursuits. The northern plains are again divided into three sections: the Punjab plains, the Ganga plains, and the Brahmaputra plains. And on what basis have we classified them as these three plains? It's based on the relief features. The third feature is the peninsular plateau. The Peninsula Plateau is a tableland composed of old crystalline, igneous, and metamorphic rocks. These are the three important components of the Peninsular Plateau. It was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land. Broad and shallow valleys and rounded hills are the characteristic features of this plateau. This plateau can be broadly divided into two regions, namely the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. Next, we have the Eastern and the Western Ghats. The Western Ghats are also known as the Sahyadri Mountains. When we look at the topography of the Deccan and the Karnataka Plateau, we can see that it is dominated by the Western Ghats, which stretch uninterruptedly from the southern tip of the peninsula. They make the western and the eastern edges of the Deccan Plateau. The average elevation of the Western Ghats is about 900 to 1600 meters compared to the 600 meters in case of the Eastern Ghats. The Eastern Ghats are generally less impressive than the Western Ghats and from a discontinuous crest on the eastern periphery of the plateau. The Eastern Ghats stretch from Mahanadi Valley to the Nilgiris in the south. The Nilgiri Hill in the Tamil Nadu lies at the junction of the Eastern and the Western Ghats. The Indian Desert. The Indian Desert lies towards the western margins of the Aravalli Hills. It's an undulating sandy plain covered with sand dunes. This region receives very less rainfall. It's about 150 millimeters per year and even lesser than 150 millimeters per year. Because of this, the climate is very arid and the vegetation is extremely scanty. In this region, Luni is the only large river. During the rainy seasons, sometimes some streams also do appear. Crescent based dunes or burchens are found in this area. The Thar Desert is the largest desert in India. It forms a significant portion of the western India. The desert continues into Pakistan as the Cholistan Desert. The Thar Desert is situated in Rajasthan and it covers about 61% of its geographical area. Next, we have the coastal plains. A coastal plain is an area of flat, low-lying land adjacent to a seacoast. The coastal plains of India are located around the Arabian Sea in the west and along the Bay of Bengal in the east. The coastal plains are waved platforms and raised beaches above the watermark. We have the western coastal plains, which is basically a narrow strip of coastal plain ranging from about 50 to 100 kilometers in width. They sandwiched between the Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea. It extends from the Gujarat in north and up to Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka and Kerala. The major rivers flowing into the sea from here are the Tapi, Narmada, Mandovi and Zori. It consists of three sections. The northern part of the coast is called as the Konkan coast. The central stretch is called as the Kannad plain and the southern stretch is the Malabar coast. On the east, the islands are yet another important geographic feature of India. What is an island? An island is basically a piece of land that is completely surrounded by water. The Lakshadweep and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands are the two major islands of India. These islands are the major formations and are classified as union territories.